Take it away.
Awesome. All right, everyone. So if you're curious at how I sold, so here's just like the tactical stuff. Here's like exactly what I did before, besides like the building rapport, the confidence, right? Dropping down slow. Like you guys know a little bit about that stuff, but here's like the actual things of what I did and what you're exactly going to say. So the first thing is cooking rapport. So this is right before you show the homemaker pieces. All right. So this will be right after the guarantee, right before the show homemaker pieces. So the first thing you're going to ask before you read the pages on the homemaker piece, you go, "Hey, Mrs. Jones, I want to do my best to show you things you actually care about. Do you mind if I ask you a few things about what you do in the kitchen?" All right. So this does a couple of things. I'm gonna go quickly through these questions because I know you can read. This does a couple of things. One, it's like, oh my God, wow, Joey doesn't want to waste my time. What a nice kid. He understands that I'm really busy. I have so much stuff going on. And he's going to show me just what I care about and make it quick and easy. All right. You know what's cool about this? We're going to show everybody basically the same things. Okay. But if somebody goes, "Hey, I'm a vegetarian," you're not going to be like, "The butcher knife's great for ribs, Mrs. Jones." Right? You're going to love it. Right. But if they go, "Hey, I'm a vegetarian," you go, "Great. The butcher knife's great for watermelon." Right? Or papaya, right? So this is like, that's where you start tying things into, right? The biggest complaint people have about salespeople, doctors, and anybody really is that they don't listen to them, right? So this is where you are a kitchen consultant. This is where you listen. So the question is, who's the main cook? All right, who's the main cook? Why do we ask that? So you know who to direct your questions to, right? You ever have like some Mr. Jones is like, "Oh, we wouldn't use that." It's like, dude, you never cook anything, right? You have no idea, right? But now you know who to direct the questions to, and now that he's mentioned, "Hey, I'm not the main cook," he's not going to be, giving talking too much about what they use because she's going to say, "I'm the main cook," right? Would you say you prepare? Again, I'm not going to read all of these. Would you say you prepare food 1 to 2 nights a week, 3 to 5 nights a week, or pretty much every day? So these questions are really important. All right. So I'm going to ask you this one. You can blurt out. When I ask you to read a script, how do I want you to read it? What do I always say? Word for word. Do I say, "Hey, do it yourself, make up what you want"? No. Right? Do I say wing it? Has anyone ever heard me say wing it?
No.
Never.
Great. So I want you to read this word for word. All right. Until you get great at it. All right. Once you're great at it, then you can change it up a little bit to make it sound a little bit more like it. Right. Once how about this? Once you beat Xander in sales, you can change the words up. Okay. Once you beat Xander in sales, all right. That's a challenge. All right. So you guys can read the rest of the questions. I'm not going to go through them because this next part is more important. So I'm going to jump to like list now. All right, like list. So after you read all those questions, you know what Mrs. Jones is cooking, what she's eating, what you're working with. Now you go to they said no thank you to the homemaker. They said no thank you to the galley set, no thank you to the starter sets, no thank you to no thank you to the starter sets. So this is instead of the specials. All right. So has anybody seen Xander field training yet? Has anyone seen a demo? Okay, awesome. Xander didn't go through special one, special two. I don't know, it's been a little while, but do you remember? Xander did not go through special one, special two, right? He didn't do that, okay? So this is what the top representatives do. All right, you might have been in training and you heard us. We get you competent at selling Cutco in your first couple of weeks. Now I'm going to get you really good at selling Cutco. All right. So this is where you're going to double and triple your average order size now. All right. So Mrs. Jones, we can make a like list of all the pieces that you like, not necessarily what you're going to buy, but just the pieces that you like. If Cutco were free falling from the sky, right, handles down, of course, haha, which 10 pieces would you pick up before your neighbors, right? If Cutco were free falling from the sky, handles down, of course, right? You leave a little joke that no one's going to laugh at. Handles down, of course. Which 10 pieces are you going to pick up first? So here's literally how it looks. All right. This is what I want you to do. You change nothing. So you go Mrs. Jones, like list. All right. And then I number it 1, and I'm just going to put 15. Okay, because I'm gonna save some time. All right, I remember it 1 through 15. I know I said 10, but I put 15 because who knows? Okay, so what you do next is once they stop picking pieces. All right, once you stop picking so there's one thing I didn't add. All right, well I want you to put in. So you see how many and what else. All right, you see how many and what else? I want you to put an arrow leading from that to the smiley face. All right, so the arrow, how many, what else? You'll put an arrow from that to the smiley face. So here's what it is. All right, whenever they pick the trimmer, like for example, so you ask, hey, if Cucko were falling from the, if you want to, you can write it in that little space next to the smiley face. If you want to write it next to the smiley face, how many and what else, you can do that as well. So if Cucko were free falling from the sky, handles down, of course, which 10 pieces would you pick up before your neighbors, right? And then Mrs. Jones says the trimmer, okay? And then guess what you're going to ask? How many, right? Oh, it has just one trimmer. Okay, no problem. What else? Oh, I like the spatula spreader. Awesome. And then what do we ask when she says spatula spreader? Oh, first, how many? First, how many, right? Because you never know. Okay, guys, this is how I sold 4 galley sets on one demo. All right, I sold 4 galley sets on one demo because all I asked was, how many? And she goes, you know what? I got a kid that's getting married. He's getting married in June. You know what? Hey, what's the deal for 2 galley sets? I go, hey, Mrs. Jones, just so you know, we have a better deal. We have a buy 3, get 1 free on galley sets. What other 2 kids are, I know you said you have 3 kids, right? How close are the other 2 to getting married? Okay, and then we ended up talking. We did a buy 3, get 1 free. I sold 4 galley sets on one demo because all I asked was, how many? All right, it's powerful, guys. Just ask, okay? So how many, right? And then what else? So you never know. Somebody might go, oh, you know what? I'll get my sister a spatula spreader, right? She loves this kind of stuff, okay? So how many, what else? How many, what else? How many, what else? And when they stop picking pieces, here's what you do. You ask, right? So asking is the #1 thing in Cutco. Hey, Mrs. Jones, do you mind if I make a few suggestions based on what you and my customers have said, right? What is Mrs. Jones going to say to that every single time?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, right? Go for it. Sure, right? And then here's the key. Do sometimes, maybe, ever. So have you ever done this? You've asked, hey, Mrs. Jones, do you ever cut watermelon? And she goes, oh, not really. Right? Has that ever like happened? Hey, Mrs. Jones, you guys like do strawberries? She goes, oh, not really. Like, I don't know, once a week or something, right? But if you go, hey, Mrs. Jones, do you sometimes, maybe, ever cut watermelon? She goes, yeah, like twice a year. Yeah. Right? You hear the difference? Hey, do you sometimes, maybe, ever do strawberries? Yeah, we do strawberries like once a week. Right? So now you're getting the positive answers. All right. So now let's say we're doing the butcher knife, right? Hey, do you mind if I make some suggestions based on what you and my customers have said? Hey, Mrs. Jones, do you sometimes, maybe, ever cut watermelon in the summer? Oh, we cut watermelon all the time, like once a week in the summer. Great. The blank, so that's the knife. Great. The butcher knife is great for that.
Nugget.
Can we put it on your like list and we'll see what it looks like all together? All right. And she'll go, sure. So it's not like, hey, the butcher knife's great for that. Do you want to buy the butcher knife? Right. And then she might go, I'm not sure. But if you go, hey, the butcher knife's great for that. Hey, let's just throw it on the like list just to see what happens. She'll be like, sure, just throw it on. Let's just see. Right. So I throw the butcher knife, right? Whatever it is. I'm not going to write every little thing. All right. And then you go, how many butcher knives? Right. Just one, Abs. Okay. What else? Right. They'll like laugh a little bit. Right. Okay. And then you go through the same thing. All right. And I stop picking until like for me, my thought was until they like get sick of me, quote unquote. Right. And it's just like asking, right? Sometimes they'll be like, all right, Giselle, I'm done. No more pieces. Right. That's all I got. Right. So here's the thing too. The reason the like list is so important with the specials, what's the most amount of pieces you can sell on the specials? 5 pieces, right? With this like list, it's unlimited. So I've had people who have said no thank you to the homemaker at $16.64, but they've said yes to a $2,000 like list. Why? Because it's customized to themselves, right? Every once in a while, you might have somebody be like, oh, I love it. I just probably wouldn't use the table knives, right? Or we don't really need a block. I like all those pieces, right? The block is too big. It'll clutter my kitchen. Or it's like, you know what? We wouldn't use a master carving set. We've got an electric carver or something like that, right? So I've sold, people have said, no, Joey's like, I've heard it, So people have said no thank you to me about the $1,600 homemaker set, but they've said yes to a custom package that they created themselves, right? So now that we have the list and the package together, we go, great, all right? I'll also mention too is like this is where you want to learn how to talk about gifts, Learn what the pieces are for. We'll talk a little bit more about that as every single week we'll talk about knives. But learn what the pieces are used for. Learn about more gifts and accessories and gadgets and cookware as well too. Cookware is a huge adder to your CPO. All right. So now that we're ready, you go same thing. Hey, Mrs. Jones, just give me a second to calculate your deal. That's not in here, but you know how to say that, right? And then this is what you guys want to do. If you're not doing this for your demos, this is probably another large reason, not a large reason, but this is like a small reason on why you might not be closing as much as you probably could. Okay, so guys, it's got to be really, really clear. All right, here's what I'll also say. If your handwriting is bad, write slow, okay? Just write slow if your handwriting is bad, okay? And that's okay. I have really bad handwriting, but when I'm doing Cutco deals, I write really, really, really slow because a confused customer will never say yes. All right, a confused customer never says bye. So here's what it is. The N, what does the N stand for?
No, value.
No, oh yeah, that's the value. Yep, the value. That's the normal price. Y is your price. What does this also mean?
No.
And then yes. Okay. Is that your sleeping alarm?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So then what I always, this is, you don't have to do this, right? But for me, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit because it's I'm gonna move it over. So N, Y, and then I always liked doing this, save, because like they see the dollar sign and save, right? It's kind of like visual. I like doing that. You don't have to do that, right? And then monthly, okay? Or you can circle the payment. So monthly. So here's what I'll do, all right? So let's say it's $2,000. All right, let's say it's $2,000. We're knocking off 20%, so we're knocking off $400. All right. So we're knocking off $400. So it's $2,000, $1,600. Can somebody divide 1,600 by 5 for me really quickly?
325.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right. 400. So save 400, which would be, you said 325?
Yeah.
325. All right, Mrs. Jones, let me calculate your price. Okay. So here's what I do. All right, here's how I do it. So what I say is, hey, Mrs. Jones, I tell her all the knives. Hey, Mrs. Jones, for your trimmer, spatula spreader, petite chef, carver, butcher knife, 4 table knives, steak knives, and these things, right? I'll name them, list them all. They are normally it's $2,000. If you went to the website today, it would be $2,000, right? And I give them a reason. Your price is $1,600. Here's why, Mrs. Jones. I'm going to buy you the spatula spreader. I'm going to buy you the cheese knife. I'm going to buy you this, this, and this. All right. So you're actually going to be saving $400 because Mrs. Jones, I like you. And I give them a reason. I like you. I want you to get a really good deal. Cutco's awesome. And you're going to absolutely love it. So I want to hook you up. Right. I give them a reason. And now they're thinking, wow, Nate's hooking me up. He thinks I should get this stuff. He's going out of his way to give me a deal. Right. So I want them to know, like, I'm not giving a deal just because I'm breathing here on this earth. I'm giving you a deal, Mrs. Jones, because you laughed at my jokes. You're helping me out. I'm close on my goal. Hey, my goal this week is to get 4 orders, Mrs. Jones. You're going to be order number 4. So that's why I'm giving you a deal. Right. You got to give them a reason to buy right now. Right. Mrs. Jones, this is what, hey, Mrs. Jones, like, I don't have much time to do demos. I'm in volleyball. I'm in school. I'm getting ready to be an assistant manager. So I'm cutting crazy deals right now to get an edge up on everybody else at the office, Mrs. Jones. All right. This is the best time I'm giving deals. Now I'm going to save you $400, which will only be $325 today. How does that sound? Right? How does that sound? Oh, abs, it's too expensive. No problem, Mrs. Jones. That's totally fine. Right? And then if no, what piece would you get the least use out of? All right. We're going to be talking about objections a little bit more. I'm going to talk about how to actually handle objections. We're not going to do this right now. We're just going to talk about dropping down. Joey, question.
So when so if they say no to like the deal, like for the 10 pieces, would you just go straight to the specials then?
So here's what we'll do. This is now instead of the specials. All right, you're experts now. Okay, you're experts. All right, the specials are for the amateurs. All right, now you're experts. Okay, so what you're gonna do is if they say no, thank you, is this kind of I would say call us to ask if you want. If they have 10 pieces, then you say, hey, Mrs. Jones, which 2 or 3 pieces would you get the least out of? If they only have like 6 or 5 or 6 pieces, you go, hey, Mrs. Jones, which piece would you get the least use out of? So if you have a ton, you can go 2 or 3 at a time. If you have a few, you go like 1 at a time. Okay? Until they say yes, right? And then you drop down one by one by one. So, like for example, let's say it's 15. If it's 15, I'll say which 2 or 3 pieces. Now it's 12, I'll say which 2 or 3 pieces. Now it's 9, I'll say which 2 or 3 pieces. Now it's 6, I'll go 1 piece. Now it's 5, 1 piece. Now it's 4, 1 piece, 1 piece, 1 piece. Right until I go, great, Mrs. Jones, this is the final deal of the evening. This is my last buy now special. I'm ripping it up, Mrs. Jones. All right, here's what I'll do for you, okay? Because I know Cutco's awesome. I know you should get it. You'll love it, right, Mrs. Jones? You like it? I love it, Abs. Awesome. Here's a great deal, so we can hook you up. Right. So here's what I'll say too. When you're seeing me right now, this is the exact same energy and enthusiasm I have when I'm closing. All right. Well, and you don't have to raise your hand. Okay. And again, it's your version of yourself. I'll say as well too. You don't have to raise your hand, but are you thinking like, I could probably up my energy and enthusiasm when I'm closing on deals? Right. I feel like I can make them believe that I think they should get Cutco more. All right. Do you think like my customers walk in and they go like, damn, this guy really wants me to get this stuff. He thinks it's awesome, right? And here's what it is too. It's not pushy. It's pleasantly persistent, right? If I go, Jordan, get it. Are you crazy? It's $400 up, right? That's pushy. If I go, hey, Mrs. Jones, you'd love this. I'm gonna hook you up with a deal. I think you should get it. Cutco's awesome. My mom loves it. All my friends love it. You'd love it too. So here's the deal I'm gonna give you because like I'm paying for school on my own. I'm working really, really hard. I'm cutting crazy deal, Mrs. Jones, before summer hits. So here's how much it'll cost today. What do you think? And then they're like, damn, well, he's cutting deals for me. I got to do it, right? And that's the like list, guys. That's how you close. Like Xander, like myself, 80+% on your demonstrations.
Let's give it up for Adam.
All right.